under the sun. Life for me has just begun. The sun is out, the wind is free. Three little birds singing to me, and they sound like.
Well, hello, welcome to the Jazz, Soul and Funk Collection. I'm John Birchall and I present a radio show on Radio Bath, and I play a combination of the jazz masters, classic 70s and 80s disco and soul, jazz fusion, neo-soul, bossa nova, and even a sprinkling of hip-hop and house music too. And I play really established artists, but I also play new and emerging artists too. And I'm always intrigued to meet some of the great artists that I play on the show. And I'm very privileged today to introduce to you Lady Wray, that's Nicole Wray, who is a US soul R&B singer-songwriter and hitmaker, and she's been in the industry for quite a few years, but she's really recently emerged with a real fire with some of her new releases, and it's great to see you, Nicole.
Thank you for having me, John. It's a pleasure.
Great. Okay. Well, what I want to do today is just really have a chat about your background, your key influences, your music and your creative approach, and some of the challenges that you may have faced over the years in the industry, and also some tips that you might be able to pass on to other artists. And obviously, we can talk about your upcoming gigs. I know you've just done a tour of Europe, and you've got a really massive tour of the US coming up. Which will be interesting to learn about. So let's get into it. Tell me about your background and how you got into music.
Oh, wow, my background. It dates back to probably the early 80s. I was a kid, and I was in church with my mom and my father, and that's what kind of really like influenced me to want to be a singer, watching my dad sing in church and being a little girl and being a choir and hearing all the songs and just being a part of something. And just when I would hear him sing, his voice was so beautiful, kind of like a cross between Marvin Gaye and Sam Cooke. And
Fantastic.
yeah, my dad had a beautiful voice, and I think he wanted to get into the industry, but he was a deacon in church, so he kind of just was led to stay gospel in the church life. But yeah, that was my early memories of just when I first like stumbled across like music and seeing live music, and then as I got older, it would definitely have to be Mary J. Blige. I loved Mary J. Blige as a teen. I would always get uh people saying that, oh, you look like Mary J. Blige, you remind me of Mary J. Blige. Even when I met Missy Elliott years ago, when she came to my house, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a story out of a movie. My brother had met Missy Elliott at a high school, and I think I was about 16. I wasn't even 17 yet. I was just turned 16, and she was looking for a girl group, and he was there singing in a boy band, and she was like, I want to sing, I want a girl singer, and he was like,
Yeah.
well, he said, I have a sister and her name is Nicole and she can sing. And he gave her our house phone number, the house and the phone that was on the wall.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
A long time before mobile phones.
Yeah, before mobile phones. And she called my house and my mom answered the phone. I happened to be up the street at one of my friends' houses. And my mom says, a girl over here named Missy Elliott, and she wants to hear you sing. And so I got my little books, and I would go over my friend's house after school. And I got my book bag, and I walked through the trail that we had, and I got in the house. And I remember her sitting there. She had like these ocean finger waves, and she was sitting there with a magazine. And she said, "What I write, I know." She told me, "I know TLC, I know Mary J. Blige," and she says, "And I work with Jodeci and Timberland." I knew who Jodeci was, but at the time, I never hadn't heard of Timberland.
Yeah.
And I said, "Can you sing something for me? I want to hear you sing." Your brother told me.
So was this in person, this meeting? Was it? You actually went to meet her somewhere?
No, she came to my house.
Oh, she came to your house. Wow.
Yes, I was 16, and she came to my house. After calling my mom and getting our address, she met me over at my house, and I remember singing for her. And she said, "You remind me of Mary J. Blige," and I remember all my friends telling me that I remind them of Mary J. Blige, and that was like my number one artist forever. Like I would always like in talent shows, I would sing her songs. And then another influence, musical influence in my life was Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
I got a little older than I think it was Mariah Carey. I loved Mariah Carey. I would sing her songs at weddings when I was before I became a famous singer. I would sing her songs at weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was in love with hip hop. I loved hip hop. I love Wu-Tang Clan. I love Heavy D and the Boys. As It's a lot of groups that I really loved growing up. I love Nas. I love Nas, Jay Z.
Yeah.
It had a lot of different influences. Definitely hip hop for one. A lot of hip hop influences.
Well, tell me about the Missy Elliott meeting, because didn't that lead to you signing to her label and getting your first sort of hit? Is that how it worked?
Yes, that's how it worked. She actually, once I got to know her, she actually lived right around the corner. We're from a small town called Portsmouth, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Went to school right around the corner from my junior high school. She graduated from the high school right around the corner, and I met her. And then my mom was like, "Okay, my daughter's young. If you're gonna take her, you need to make sure she's okay. Take care of her, protect her, and I'm gonna let her go with you." My mom would always let Missy Elliott use her car. She would let me go out of town with Missy Elliott, and then Missy told me, she says, "As soon as I get my record deal, I'm gonna sign you." And I always had a dream of being famous. I used to always like buy the magazines. I loved Criss Cross and So Def, Atlanta based group. And Missy, she delivered her promise. She got her big record deal, and she signed me as her first artist off of her Gold Mine record label. And from there, I still didn't know what was happening. I was still fairly young. I missed out on a
Yeah.
lot
So
of.
you were about 19, were you, at that stage, something like that?
I was 17
Oh,
when
right.
when I signed my record deal with Missy Elliott, and about 19, I would go on to work on my album.
Is that was of course Make It Hot, wasn't it?
Yes, that was Make It Hot album. Yes, the single went gold. Make It Hot went gold in 4 weeks, and I went on shortly after that. I went on tour with Missy Elliott, and it's just began my career as a solo artist.
Wow, what that must have been crazy. I mean, what were you thinking at the time as a young woman? Suddenly you were sort of moving in these circles. That must have been quite a challenging but exciting time for you.
It was definitely exciting and scary to be in meetings after being pulled out of I would say like a just a regular lifestyle. I was in talent shows, and I was pulled away from my friends, which I missed my friends. I was pulled away from high school functions and proms and things that I really wanted to engage in, parties, to endure and to be an artist and be on the road. So I missed out on a lot of things that I really wanted to do. And now that I look back on it, and I have my daughter now, I'm like, she's not gonna miss out. I don't want her to miss out on any of these pivotal moments of your life. But I did enjoy my career. I really did. I enjoyed every little bit of it. Enjoyed performing. I loved it all. One
I'm
was
going to ask you, actually. Sorry to interrupt you, but were you did you take were you a natural as far as singing live is concerned? I mean, did you
oh yeah
and
oh
and
yeah.
and did you find what was the difference between singing live and then recording in the studio? Did you find that sort of a different transition?
Well, singing live is definitely different from singing in the studio, and I have a really big voice, so I will always be told, "You're singing too loud." Because I come from a church background, so and I did get a chance to like record some stuff before I met Missy Elliott, so I had barely been in the studio.
Yeah.
But is definitely a difference between singing live and singing in the studio. But now I don't find any difference. I just pull the mic far away from me and just belt it out.
Well, you've certainly got an amazing voice. I mean, and it's such a soulful voice as well. I mean, it's when I first heard your voice. I mean, when I started playing, and to be honest, I only really came across you a few years ago. But you know, when I heard "Under the Sun," I just thought this is a tremendous song, a tremendous singer, and you've got a really rich sounding, soulful voice. You know, looking at your career, it looks like you had that amazing sort of rise very early on, and we can talk about it later. I mean, there were some interim years, I suppose, and now you seem to be sort of taking off again. You know, is that right?
That is so right. Yeah, and my journey has been up and down and all around. And I believe I found myself in 2006 is when everything kind of crashed and fell. It just fell through, and I was by myself. I didn't have a. I didn't feel like if I called anyone, they would pick up the phone.
I was just looking at some of the background, but you obviously you did make it hot, and then you've got I mean you lent vocals to Missy Elliott's hit "All in My Grill," and you were quite had a high profile. So what happened? Did things just sort of shut down for a while?
What happened is just life took off. I think Missy Elliott, of course, she's a big entity. She was a big name. She had her
Yeah,
label, and I think what had happened, I honestly think that I kind of just got left. I kind of got left behind a little bit because of her stardom, and she wanted to be a producer and to work with all these artists, but I think she was just getting pulled from all which of ways, and I think
yeah,
I got left behind somehow. And my mom was managing at the time. I kind of just was like, you know what? I just kind of want to regroup, and I kind of just took a break. I took my own break. I kind of told Missy I want to just take a break, honestly, because I just felt like, I was young and I didn't understand, and I just was like, I think I need to take a break to take a break from this, and I took a
yeah,
break. A lot of people thought I was dropped from the record label, which I never was dropped. I took myself out of the situation because I felt like I needed to kind of regroup and figure out if this is something that I want to continue to do. Is Are these the people that I want to continue to work with? And I in 2006 I kind of I went to Georgia after I had worked with Rockefeller Records, which was a Jay-Z record label and Damon Dash label, and kind of sort of the thing was happening over there. It was something happening with Jay-Z and Damon Dash, and I really didn't want to be in the middle of it. So again, I took myself out of it and went to regroup, and I moved down to Atlanta in 2006, and that's where everything was quiet, and I began to hear my thoughts now. The industry wasn't buzzing so loud in my ear or in my face. It was just
yeah,
me against me. And I think I needed that to kind of regroup and figure out and to who I was as an individual to be able to give you these songs and all the things that I have today. I think in 2006 was the pivotal moment for me to began to get to who Ray really was.
yeah.
Say that the industry, it was really quiet. It was no industry. I had no industry friends. It was nobody in the industry that I
So
call.
you weren't performing or anything at all? Did you
I was
completely
not.
stop?
I just completely stopped. I just
That's
was quiet.
amazing.
Yeah, I completely stopped. But I had already met I began to yeah, I was just really quiet. Then I got a call from Damon Dash that he was working with the Black Keys. And I didn't know if I really wanted to get back into that situation again because it was just so messy. The whole situation over there was a little messy. And I felt like I had found my peace in 2006. And so I gave it a try and I went out there, flew to New York, and I met the Black Keys, which was working on their hip hop album with some rappers.
Yeah,
Used me as the front girl. I did all of the like background vocals. They fell in love with my voice, and then I went on to work on the Brothers album with them in 2009, 2010, something like that. And that album came out, and I think something sparked in me, and I was like, I kind of got back to my live roots, my church backgrounds, and singing live. That was because I was working with the Black Keys, and they sparked this thing that I already had, but I just kind of lost it along the way when I was working with Missy. Everything was, produced in
yeah,
more of Pro Tools, and with the Black Keys was more analog and very warm and very live. And I fell in love with that sound, and that just sparked the thing. And then I met Truth and Soul, which was Leon over at Truth and Soul with Lee Fields,
yeah,
and the record company is now titled Big Crown, but it was titled Truth and Soul, and they
yeah.
asked write some songs with Lee Fields, and felt honored. I felt honored to write some songs with Lee Fields, and from there, it sparked this
Was
whole kind of retro, nostalgic kind of neo soul thing. But it really wasn't. I think it was people were saying that because they were used to me having this Pro Tool produced beat hip hop kind of sound, and then they heard this like real live sound, and they thought, oh, this is retro, this is neo soul. But I just say it's produced very well. It's just live to me.
Yeah.
That's
So did you? So going back a little bit. So in 2012, did you sort of? I was reading that you teamed up with Terry Walker, and you did you perform as in the name Lady or something? Was that before you went completely solo
yeah, that's
afterwards?
before I went completely solo. Yeah, I met the guys. Some of the guys I met through Terry Walker. Well, she knew the manager of L. Michaels back then. She knew his manager, and she was like, "We should go over there and meet them." And then they came over and met us, and then they wanted us to do a girl group, and that's how Terry and I got a duet album, the Lady album. But we always said we were gonna kind of do our own thing, but she kind of left a little sooner than what we all hoped for. And so when we left, I kind of just tagged on. I put Lady on. I put Ray at the end of Lady, and because I love the name. We were doing fairly well, I believe, and I wanted to keep that same vibe, so I just tagged on my last name
Well,
to
it
be called
definitely
Lady.
works, doesn't it? It really does work. I
Yeah,
think it's a good name, and I was just looking at was that when you then produced your first sort of solo album after that period? Was that Queen Alone, wasn't it?
it was.
In 2016?
Yeah, it was titled Queen Alone, and I just had so much fun. Just trying to shake off whatever that we had going on with the lady thing, and just trying to start all new, like shake that off and start all new, and just bring all my elements and everything back into the music, and that's what I did with Queen Alone.
So you've so looking at your albums, of course, Queen Alone, that was 2016, and Piece of Me, which is one of my favourites. Of course, that's how I got to know you, really, with the tracks Under the Sun and I Do, great tracks, and of course, very exciting, your new album, which is just, I mean, obviously you've been releasing singles from it already. Best for Us, what a great track that is, and the album Cover Girl's coming out. Is it this month or next month?
It's coming out next month, September the 26th, titled Cover Girl. And it has been a labor of love working with L. Michaels Affair and Marco Benvento. Marco brought so much sunshine to the project with L. Michaels, with Lee. Every day we were going to the studio, and it was just pianos all over the place. And I just felt so blessed to be able to bring the gospel elements and to tell them my vision, and we all be able to work together, and it just come out so amazing. I mean, every day I would go home with a song and just play it back, and just like, I cannot wait for this album to be released, because it's definitely something that has been brewing inside of me for a long time, to bring those soul church elements, the choir element, and somewhat of the gospel element back into my music. It's been a long time. I've done it with other artists. Like I said, I sung on the Black Keys Brothers project, and I was able to bring some of that, built-in gospel sound, but I hadn't been able to really do it on my own project. So to be able to put the elements that I've been dreaming to do for so many years into a project, and to name it Cover Girl, was a nickname of mine when I was a teenager. And I just kind of wanted to go back to when it was innocent, when life wasn't so unfair, when you didn't have bills and all of these responsibilities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of wanted to
Well, there
get back.
was no technology, was there, in those days? You know,
No,
we just had simple lives, didn't we? It was
simple, yeah, very simple. And I wanted to just bring that feeling back into the music, and just to dedicate it to yourself, and to self love, and taking care of yourself, and being a cheerleader for yourself. And that's what this album is about.
Did you do all of the writing yourself, or was it a combination? Or
Yeah, I did all the writing myself. My husband helped on my next step. He helped me with that record. But I do all the writing on my own, and all the production is done with L. Michaels and his team of great producers and musicians.
fantastic. And how did your? I know recently in July, unfortunately, I couldn't come to see you. I know you had two dates in the UK, I think London and Manchester, but you did. Did you do about 14 dates in Europe? How did that go?
It was overwhelming when I first was told I was coming over there. And it was, and I say overwhelming because this time my husband wasn't going to be able to go with me. He's in the Navy now, and he's dedicated himself, and he's the real true sacrifice of our my life and my daughter's life. And I go on, I joke about it on stage. You know, you got these boyfriends, and you grow up, and you got these guys that say this for you, but I said I know my husband really loves me because he did the ultimate sacrifice, and I am so thankful for him. And so I was overwhelmed because he wasn't going to be with me, and I would be away from my child for a whole month, and then I would be playing with a new band, a UK band, which I love. They sound amazing. I met those guys via Zoom. We did some rehearsals via Zoom, talked over the music, and I met them live in person. And we rehearsed for 2 days straight for before the tour. And I said, these guys got it. I'm stealing these guys. These guys are gonna be my band. They were amazing.
Where are they from? Are they from London or
They're from
Manchester?
London. They're from London, and then some from Manchester. Yeah, but they are amazing group of guys. They work together on projects together when I'm not there, and I just love their vibe. We fit really really great together, and we went out every night and we killed it. We killed, man. We shut down London. London was sold out. It was
Yeah.
sold out. It was beautiful. And it was just it was a time. And Terry Walker, she came. You know, I hung out
Oh,
with her
wow.
or yeah, when I got into London, I hung out with Terry Walker. She does every first Friday of the month. She does like a small pub, and she gets together with new talent. And I told her come out and hang out with me, and she came out and showed me love, and we hung out and we had a great time. And the rest of the tour was just it was just blessed and beautiful, and it was just amazing. I mean, everywhere I went, and I played the new songs from the album. In some places, they're playing the new songs on radio,
Yeah.
and they knew the songs, and just it was just overwhelming and just beautiful just to be just represented and loved, and
Yeah.
I felt all the love that was given to me out there, and I cannot wait to come back again.
Great. I mean, have you been to Europe before, Nicole, or was that your first time?
Oh yes, I've been to Europe before, but I had never been out. I've never been to Spain or Switzerland. So those two places was my first time going to Spain and Switzerland. And Switzerland was amazing. The crowds were beautiful. The weather was beautiful. The food was amazing. I mean, I just loved it over there. I mean, I had a big crowds coming and singing my song, and I was just like overjoyed. And I cannot wait to go back over there again. It was beautiful.
Well, I was really sorry that I couldn't get to see you live, but hopefully I will next time. But I mean,
You will.
do you know what? I know that you've got your massive US tour starting. In fact, you've got a date in August, haven't you? And then you're going all the way through to November. I think you've got about 30 dates. So are you looking forward to that?
I am.
That's
I
going
am.
to be hard work, isn't it?
It's always hard work. It's always hard work. But you know what? God gave me this gift, and He knew that I could do it. So it's easy for me. What's hard for me is being away from my daughter. You know. But I will be here in the U.S. So she should be able to come to some of the weekend festivals.
How
So
old is your daughter, by the way?
Melody is 7 years old now.
Oh, wow. And has she got a voice? Do you think she's got a voice?
Oh, she definitely has a voice, and she's into theater, so she's gonna be the actress. She's gonna be the Broadway girl. So I
I
already know.
bet she sings all your songs, does she?
She really does. She sings and raps, and she loves to dance.
Oh, that's great, great. Well, I wanted to just one of the things I wanted, you touched on it a bit earlier, really. I was quite keen to hear what your influences were and who your favourite artists are. I mean, can you name a few who you loved when you were growing up, or even who you listen to now?
I loved Mary growing up. I love Anita Baker, Lauryn Hill, Mariah Carey, Tony Braxton,
Yeah,
SWV. And my artists that I really love, and I love Whitney Houston growing up as well. Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, Stevie Wonder.
yeah,
The list goes on. And who I like today, I'm listening to Yukimi of Little Dragon. I love her.
yeah.
Yukimi, and I love Sita. I love Solange, Anderson Paak, Leon Bridges. The list goes on. Amber Mark. I love Amber Mark.
There's so many fabulous artists, aren't there, at the moment? I mean, it's funny actually. I find Spotify is such a help when I'm preparing for my show. You know, I can research so many artists, and I don't know if you've come across Zoe and Tool Black Guy from Detroit. Have you come across them? I think their music's fabulous, and
I haven't. out.
and Robert Glasper and Terrace Martin, and there are so many great artists. Well, in the States and in Europe and worldwide as well. So I
They
think
are
it's a very thriving scene. It's just you just hope that the artists can benefit from their work as much as perhaps some of the big record companies do. But it's always a challenge, that, isn't it?
definitely a challenge. Trying to find where the money is. But at the end of the day, that's always last. I mean, what's first for an artist that really loves it like me and has a journey like me is really about getting out here and showing your talent, showing it to be real, showing it to be authentic. And the authentic, I think being authentic should, at the end of the day, if you work hard, it should bring in some money, and
No.
it should.
No, I absolutely agree with that. And so what's your sort of? I know you've one of the things I wanted to just talk about, and you did touch on it a little bit. What do you think have been the biggest challenges in your career, and what advice would you give to sort of young and up and coming artists? I mean, be interested to hear your views on that.
I think challenges for me would probably have started early on in my career. We start with a group of people, and you like really enjoy them, and you think that they are end all be all, and then you're shattered because you move from that to a whole new family. And so I think that was probably the challenges for me. So when I was with Missy Elliott, and then it was up the highs, and it was the lows. Then I moved from that situation and gathered myself. Then I went from there to work with Rockefeller Records, which is more of a like hip hop,
Yeah,
more pop than Missy Elliott and Timbaland was. It was nothing but guys over there that were rapping. You know, awesome rappers. You got Jay-Z, you had Freeway, you had Oskino and Spark, you had Cameron, Dipset. It was all of these rappers over there, and then here I come singing. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
so, and I really enjoyed being over there. And then that door closed, and then I went on to work with the new label now, which has been a home for me and has been very consistent. I think consistency is the key.
yeah.
It was always consistency, and I think I learned a lot along the way working with these different entities and different groups and different personalities. But I think where I am now, it makes the most sense because it's been consistent. And
So you would say the artists need to be consistent, what, and true to themselves, and keep
right,
going. Would you say?
yeah, I think you need to be true to yourself first and foremost, and understand that it's the music business. It's not your family.
Yeah,
It's music, and then it's business.
yeah,
So, and if you feel like that something is not what it seems, or if you, I think you should just. I think artists now, they are doing what they want to do. Because when I first started, you couldn't have the long colorful weave, you couldn't have tattoos, you couldn't have babies, you couldn't do any of these things. So I think the industry has changed a lot. You have artists like Cardi B, she does what she wants,
yeah.
and I think she has changed. I think a lot of artists, I think that they have gotten it. I think the industry has changed so much that you don't have to put on the front. You should be yourself. And if when one door closed, another one will open. That's my advice. Just be true to yourself.
No, that makes sense. It really does. So, no, it's really helpful, that, I think, because I do meet young artists, and I sort of see the pain and the challenges that they face, and it's really hard work, isn't it? Trying to sort of grow as an artist. So, no, I think that's very useful advice. I'd like to know, actually, so where do you see I mean, I've got to say, your sound, as I've said before, is fabulous. I think the music you've been releasing recently is superb. Where do you want to take it? I mean, are you comfortable where you are, or would you like to sort of get bigger? I mean, you've got a fabulous voice for it. Do you have any ambitions in the industry still?
If I didn't have any ambitions, I think I would be been done a long time ago.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you still want to conquer the world then,
of
even
course.
after all these years of try. It's hard work, but no, it's good. And are you finding that you're getting a sort of with the latest albums? Are you finding that there's much more interest, and things are building for you?
Of course. And one thing about me, I will not stop. As long as
Yeah,
I'm not gonna stop singing until I feel like that I don't want to sing anymore. I always, it's always been a dream of mine, and to conquer and to get what I really feel like that I've been after. I just want people to hear really good music, really good, a good vocalist that comes from a good place, comes from, that has a good heart, that really means well. This is, and you don't really see too much of that. You do, but I mean, you get the older singers, you know, like the Stevie Wonders and the Michael Jacksons and
Yeah.
early Whitney Houston. I am a believer in just keep going, singing and till everybody hear it, and you know I will be rewarded. And if I don't, it's fine with me. I'm still gonna sing.
And do you describe yourself then as a sort of a soul singer or a neo soul singer? Well, how do you describe yourself? I mean, or even I mean, there are so many gospel influences as well, aren't there?
I'm definitely a soul singer. I sing from the soul. I'm not
Yeah,
need soul. Just straight up soul, R&B and soul. That's
yeah.
me. Yeah.
Do you play? What's your view on festivals? You know, I mean, obviously in the UK, we recently had Glastonbury, and you know, do you look to play at the festivals? I mean, do you play festivals, or is that something you'd like to do more of?
I would love to do more festivals. I think you're reaching the masses of all people, all everywhere. They come over, especially overseas. I think for me, I love doing festivals because I'm meeting new people and people are hearing my music for the first time, and then it's so much great energy and other artists that you meet backstage that I've never heard of, and we all click, connect, and link up. I think is a beautiful thing. Festivals, because of the crowd, and everybody that's there, and all the new people that you get to meet, and you get to get in front of and sing your music, something new.
Do you like collaborations as well? I mean, is that something you'd look to do more of? I mean, in many ways, you've got such a powerful voice. You can do everything solo quite easily. But I mean, collaborations is sometimes a good way to sort of find new fans and new markets, I suppose.
Absolutely. I am so into collaborations, and I am dedicated to bringing my talent and merging my talent to with anybody who wants to work with me, that that feel that we could make some good music together, whether that's an artist or a producer. You know, I'm always up for that. I love working with new people and new music, and being inspired by something new or some younger artist that's inspired by me, and we start working together and blending our sound together. That would be amazing. I love to do that.
No, that's great. Well, I mean, I hope we. Obviously, you're now beginning to focus on your US tour, but do you think you're going to come back to Europe next year, or will it be in a couple of years' time?
I have no idea. We will see what the in between this time brings. Dates start coming in, and they want me to come back there. I am there.
Great. So how can people find you? I mean, obviously they can find your music on Spotify. Just look up Lady Wray. But can they find you on Instagram and social media, that sort of thing as well?
Of course, I'm Lady Nicole Ray on Instagram. Lady Nicole Ray on Facebook, and on all streaming is Lady Ray. Apple Music, Spotify. Um, I'm streaming on all platforms as Lady Ray, and you can find me as Lady Ray. WRAY.
Right. Well, that's. I'm sure you're going to build more and more fans because
Wait.
when I heard your voice, I just thought that's just a fabulous soul voice, and I just think there's such a sort of a demand for it. I think there's almost like a re-emergence of soul. There are quite a lot of new artists now coming. You know, obviously we had the great era of the '60s and the '70s and the '80s, but I think there's a new era of soul artists, and you're definitely part of that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's what I want to be. I would love to be in a new era of the new soul artist. That's what I want to be. That's where I want.
Well, Nicole, I must say thank you so much for speaking to me. Thanks so much for your music, and I definitely will continue to play you on my radio show and promote you as much as I can, because
Yeah.
I think your sound is beautiful, and I'm looking forward to the release of the new album. I know we've got some of the singles or some of the tracks on the album are already out, but looking forward to the full release and hearing about how you get on in your tour in the States, and welcoming you back to Europe hopefully next year.
Yeah, thank you, John. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to get this new album out, dropping September 26th.
And just to remind everyone, it's called Cover Girl,
Cover
and
Girl.
go and look that up on Spotify or the other platforms. Tracks that I particularly like on the album: "Best for Us," which I think is a great track, and "You're Gonna Win," of course, which is another great track. So I would recommend anyone watching this go and have a look at Nicole's work, Lady Wray, and you'll find it there.
Thank you.
Nicole, great to meet you. Hopefully one day we'll meet in person, but thank you so much for being with me today on the Jazz, Soul and Funk Collection.
Thanks for having me, John. Pleasure.
Look forward to seeing you again soon.
You will.
Bye.
Bye-bye.